Ooh. Oh, yay. Okay, cool. Say something.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Ooh, that works. I need to use that to introduce you. Well, actually, okay. Am I allowed to sit on this table? Okay. Is this my clicker thing? No. Is it just like sit out? I think it. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bi-Sci class. I'm not seeing a lot of journals out right now, so make sure you're getting your journals out, getting something to write with. Looking at you, sir. Get your journal out. Journal out. Oh, now everybody's getting their journals out. Okay. All right. Very studious. Oh, some people are freaking out. They didn't bring their journals. Oh, no. If you don't have your journal, just pull out a piece of paper. That'll work. Because, it's good to be studious. I have the honor today, if everyone can, just pause on the conversations about forgetting your journal. I have the honor to introduce a wonderful guest speaker today, who I've been working with to develop her sustainability capstone this semester. And she's been in your seats as a student in Bi-Sci and been in your TA's seats as a TA for Bi-Sci, and then also been in LC. And I have tremendous respect for this woman that's sitting there right now, and she has some beautiful things to share with you today. So this is Mollie, everybody, and I'm so happy to also hear what she has planned. Cool. Aw, you guys. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Is this on? Did I do this right? Um, if you can't hear me in the back, can you just like holler and tell me that you can't hear me? Um, so my name is Mollie, and I know you don't know me, but I know you, and I know this class, and I love this class, and I believe in this class. And so I'm really excited to be here today to share this lecture with you and also combine it with my sustainability leadership project. And so today we're going to be talking about slowing down. And so just like yoga or meditation or soccer or sports or math, slowing down requires practice. And today, during the lecture, we are going to be practicing slowing down. And so Scout over here has this bell. This is my Bi-Sci bell. And when this bell is rung, it sounds like this, we're going to stop everything for about a minute. And we're going to just be, and we're going to think, and we're going to sit, and we're going to breathe. And we're not going to talk, and we're just going to think. And then Scout is going to ring it again, and we can start back up again. So when you hear the bell, just feel free to stop everything you're doing. And so last class, I know you talked about transportation. And so transportation takes us away from things. It takes us away from places we've been. It takes us away from where we were and the people that were there. And I find it really interesting that air traffic is up 3% since pre-pandemic time. So this was before everything happened with COVID and everything. It's up 3% right now, and airfare is up 15%. So we're paying the most amount for flying, and we're doing it the most amount of times. And our need for speed and our need for transport is greater now more than ever. And so what if we were to
move less? And what if we were to spend more time in one place and move at a slower speed? So I want you to take a second in your journals. I'll give you like 2 minutes and write this down in your journals. Being slow means versus being fast means. Go ahead and take the next minute to share with your neighbor what came up for you. Yeah, don't be shy. Don't be shy. And I'll trust you for timing. I'll just wait. But maybe, Scout, maybe not when one of them are talking. Is there anyone? I believe, hello, I believe we do have, I don't know. I believe we do have microphones out. If there's anyone who would like to share about what came up for them, I know we have microphones circling. Don't be shy. Yeah.
For me, being slow kind of like has definitely more of a negative connotation to it. Especially just when it's like being slow means, because that's not like a whole lot of context. To me, I think being slow is like means you're behind, means you're not really trying as hard as you could be. And I just think being fast is always, or in most situations, a better way to live your life.
That's really interesting. Yeah, there's one in the back, a few in the back. Thanks.
I actually disagree with that, being slow has a negative connotation. It is purely contextual about the situation. There are certain situations where you have to be fast and have to be quick, rapido with a lot of things, but other areas in life where you have to take your time and just slow things down, like you said. It's not a matter of, okay, this is bad and this is good. It's purely relying on the situation and purely relying on what cards you're given in that moment.
Yeah, I love that. All right. All right, your lab loves you. Guys, it's hard for me to hear, and I want to hear what everyone has to say.
One of my high school rugby coaches, he has like an apparel brand, and he like his motto of his brand was to live slow, and he like pushed that onto us too, and it like changed how I saw the game and how he played and stuff. So I feel like living slow like allows you to take everything in, make good decisions, and then like in such a fast-paced game like rugby was for me, it helped to like be able to live slow and have our team like all be slow and all be together.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think too, a lot of like times when people are like rushing through their days, just like when they're being fast with like everything, like say you're washing the dishes and you're just like speeding through it, that's like not the way to be. Like you want to try and like enjoy like tiny little like moment. I mean, washing the dishes is obviously boring, but like stuff, little things like that, you want to try and like sit and enjoy your day and not just like speed through everything.
Can we have it one more hand on this side of the room and then sorry, I'm like making you run all the way around. Yeah, I know there was somebody over here who raised their hand. Yeah.
Um, I would say I'm a slow person because I'm on my own time and I don't rush for nothing. So when I say that, um, I would just say not being rushed or yeah, not being rushed. Like I can't I can't be on other people's time. So I gotta move in slow pace. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm hearing many mixed opinions about these two ideas. And I'm wondering who feels that they are moving faster than they would like to right now? And who feels comfortable at the speed at which they're moving just through life? Okay, honestly, pretty 50-50. Thanks, Scott. So moving slow versus moving fast. Can I have another raise of hands of how many people feel like they're moving too fast right now? Yeah, that's a lot of us. And so, oh, hello. Why are we so busy? Why are we running around so much? There's a few reasons why. We're going to talk about them. Oh, hello. The first one is I'm busy, therefore I'm important. And so busyness can be seen as a badge of honor or a trendy symbol of status. And this is the glorification of being busy that's been used to show importance and value and self-worth. I am busy, therefore I am needed, I am sought out, I am valuable, and I am relied on. And this is The busyness, therefore, I am important. Next one is destination addiction or busy addiction. I believe this is a word we might have heard before in class, Autumn told me. And so this is the idea that happiness exists in a future destination or the next thing. Happiness exists in your next job, the next place you will live, the next meal you will eat, and the next friend you will have. This is destination addiction. There is, oh, that says business. Don't look at that. There is busyness as a necessity, and that is the absolute necessity of being busy to be able to live. This is working multiple jobs to make ends meet while also caring for children at home, having pets. This can also come in the form of job loyalty in order to keep your job or get a promotion that you financially need to sustain your life. And that is busyness as a necessity. The next one is lifestyle inflation, and this is a really interesting topic that I just dove into, which refers to the increasing of your spending from the increasing of your income. So if you now make more money, you now want to spend more money. And this can also be translated into busyness. The more we are able to do, the more we want to do. The better you become and the more, not better you become, but the better you become at doing things quickly and efficiently, the more that you want to put on your plate. Does anyone relate to this? I relate to this one. And that is lifestyle inflation. The next one is FOMO. Who gets FOMO? I get really bad FOMO because I want to be there and I want to experience everything. I'm a senior and so I'll be gone in a few weeks, which sucks. But I am getting a lot of FOMO right now. And so this FOMO can also translate to a fear of slowing down and the fear of not getting enough. And so spending is actually shifting from buying items to buying experiences, from having it all to wanting to do it all. And so it was predicted that in this age that we have of abundance, it would make us all relax because it's easier for us to do things that for things that we need, like clothes and food and shelter. It's easier to get these items. But maybe knowing what we're missing makes us guilty or anxious about the limits of our time that we have. And so knowing the things that you might be missing makes you feel like you want to do all the things that you're going to be missing. And so maybe this age of abundance is not making us relax. And this last one is my favorite. And that is, I am busy because I should be busy. And so there are many levels to this point, and it's my favorite to talk about. And my choir professor says that should is the most dangerous word in the English language. And I want you to take a second and talk with your neighbor about how you feel about the word should. So if we could have microphones going out again, I'd love to hear from some people. I'd love to hear from some people about how they feel about this word should. I know we got Sunny over there has got a hand up.
I think that the word should honestly diminishes what you're doing in the present moment. And I think it also has to do with a lot of comparisons. I talked about this with my mates. I stated that when you say should, it's like you're comparing yourself to other people. Me personally, when I see someone who has like an internship and they're the same age as me and I don't have an internship, I think that I should be having an internship as well. And I think that that takes away a lot of joy when you compare yourself to other people.
Yeah, it's a great point. I know there's a few in the middle John right here too.
I was telling my partners how I tend to try to rephrase the word should because I don't like the way that should makes me or whoever I'm talking to feel. Because like Jihad said, it just kind of like makes you feel disappointed or like you're underachieving before you even begin the sentence. So instead of saying should, I try to say something like I need to be doing this or I would benefit from doing this, so that it frames it more positively and like more, I guess, encouragingly, like motivatingly, instead of making me feel like I like missed out on something in a negative way.
Yeah, it's a great alternative. We can take one more person.
I feel like should is just wasted potential. One of my favorite things to live by is the world rewards audacity, not potential. And that's just
Wait, I'm sorry, can
living.
you say that again? It's hard for me to hear.
The world rewards audacity, not potential. So for like the people that are just looking at others and seeing how successful they are and just wishing that they could know like the secret to doing that, it all comes down to those are the people that were willing to put themselves out there and take a chance, even if they didn't feel ready enough or prepared enough. And those are the people like closed mouths don't get fed. You gotta be the one that's gonna ask for things and put yourself out there with intentionality.
Yeah. Closed mouths don't get fed. That's actually the second time this week I've heard that, and that's the first time I've ever heard that before. So that's really interesting. Yeah, this word should. I'm wondering, yeah, just like what we said, should imposes rigid expectations and it fosters a lot of shame, and guilt. Should is a word that compares the subject to others. And in order to know that something should be some sort of way, there has to be a reference that's already created. And so the only reason why you think you should be busy is because someone else is busy. And I wonder how it would feel if we placed the word should with could. I know we've seen this before. Our green triangle. And so all the connections that the green triangle shows, the choices that we make for or against the green triangle, those can all be translated into busyness too. I find that when I feel very busy, I'm doing things that don't help my health, don't help my wallet, don't help my environment. If I'm rushing out the door and I forget a water bottle and I have to buy one from the vending machine, that's dollars I'm spending. I'm buying plastic and I don't have easy access to water all the time. If I schedule events that are too close to each other and I can no longer take the Whoop, I now have to drive onto campus. That's spending my money in the deck and the gas. And it's not good for my health because I'm not taking public transportation. I'm not connecting with people, and it's not good for the environment because I'm driving my car. And so, yeah, this triangle can be translated into a lot of different things. And I think busyness is a great way to kind of go back to, am I moving at a speed that allows me to help myself and my natural world? And so if you think about your parents or your grandparents and other generations of people that have lived, who thinks that we are busier than they were? A show of hands. Okay. Who thinks that we are not busier than they were? Interesting. I know that the word busier is a little bit relative, and it's hasn't really been quite defined yet. But in terms of doing things, oh, I skipped too fast. In terms of doing things, statistically, we are not busier than previous generations. In fact, we are working less and sleeping more. And so what you might be feeling as an increased busyness is the increased feeling of being busy due to technological connection. And so busyness as a byproduct of the digital age says that over 24/7, our 24/7 connected culture blurs the lines between life and working, promoting multitasking and never turning off. Who goes to bed with their phone next to their head? Like by their nightstand. Yeah. Who gets the Penn State Today Outlook notification at 4 a.m. every morning? Yeah. My email is flooded and Penn State Today, and you can't turn it off. It's so annoying. But we just constantly have work next to our faces. And so this makes me curious about what is your relationship with technology and does it affect how busy you feel? Take a second to jot that in your journal quietly first. Nice. Go ahead and share with your neighbor how you felt. You want to wrap up the conversation you're having? So we can hear some voices from the crowd. Is is someone willing to share?
Is someone willing to share
This is so fun. It's too much power. Their connection or relationship with technology and how it might affect how busy they feel. I know there's a hand over there. This is a tough room to have one mic in. Where's the second one? Don't worry, girl. We see you. We're coming.
I feel like since like coming to college, I've gotten a lot more into using my phone to like plan out my days with like my calendar app. And then like sometimes when I'm like looking back at my calendar, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of things I need to do this day. And like my month is just filled and it kind of gets like overwhelming. But at the same time, like I don't really know what I'd do without it. And then it's also like, I feel like emails and texts and all these notifications you get through your phone are just like always asking you to do something and always making you feel like you need to do more. And it just like, I guess it could make you feel important. And that's a lot of like the fast paced lifestyle. But I think that technology definitely just contributes to making people feel like they need to do things at all times.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Do we have another hand over here? Yeah. And as we're sharing, I just want to make sure that we're really connecting with eye language and make sure that we're speaking, make sure that when I am speaking for myself. And so technology might make you feel a certain way and it might make me feel a different way. So go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a saying in Com 180, because I learned about this at the beginning of my telecommunications class this year. There's this author that argues that as soon as we have access to multiple types of technology, it becomes mythic, it becomes magical, something like humanity views as divine. And I think it's to a point where we shouldn't view it as divine or magical because, the internet, what we have in our hands every single day, it was created by humanity and it shouldn't be viewed as godly. And of course, we have to use it for many aspects of life. I know when I wake up every morning, I have to sign into Office or Canvas. I always have to do that stupid verification thing with my phone. It's obnoxious, but I think, we should be using it to enhance our knowledge and enhance our lives rather than letting it control us and rather letting it drain us and rather letting it, make us feel lonely. We should use it to stay more connected. I know I feel so much more connected on social media and on text messages and many other platforms such as Instagram and TikTok because I've been able to build a network of friends and communities, and that's something I think we should all try to embrace and continue to lean on instead of letting it separate us.
Yeah, I see using technology to our advantage. Yeah, there's a lot in there. Um, okay. And so I'm really glad that you brought up that point that technology has helped you a lot through social media and creating friendships that way because I have found something totally different. And I'm going to share my story of how I came to be doing my project in this way. And so I noticed that technology has really impacted how busy I feel. And so my ability Thanks, Cal. So I started this project back in January, and I met with Autumn. She's right there. To start discussing the options of my sustainability leadership project. And so we talked about many things that I already had passion in, overconsumption, living environmentally sustainably, composting, etc. And these were all concepts that I cared about a lot and I believe are important in living today. But in order to create a project that I was really passionate about, I had to focus on something that was tailored towards me. And so in order to figure out what was important to me sustainably, I had to figure out what sustainability can look like. And so I think this class does a really cool job of showing us that sustainability doesn't just mean recycling, and it doesn't just mean taking shorter showers, but it can mean connection and being financially sustainable and being sustainable with your time and being sustainable with our natural world. And so at this time, in January, I was applying for grad school. And so I am a musician, and so I applied to grad school as a music major, and I had about 15 different pieces of music that I had to learn and know like the back of my hand and study. And this was very stressful for me because all the auditions happened in the same 2 weeks of February, and I had these 15 pieces of music that I need to know on top of everything else that we're doing at school. And so this was very difficult for me to deal with. And so at this time, I felt very clouded. That's me. I felt very clouded and I felt like I didn't have enough time. Who here has felt like they don't have enough time? Yeah, that's like almost everybody raising their hand. And that's a really interesting thing because time is the only thing that we all have the same amount of. And so understanding this idea that that doesn't quite make sense, the truth that I found is that it's not that I didn't have enough time, but the way that I was choosing to spend my time was something that I was not happy with. And I realized that my current choices were unsustainable for the life that I wanted, that included the things that I knew that I wanted to accomplish and included keeping my sanity. And so my mind was busy and I felt busy and I wanted to let go and I wanted to feel more peace. I knew I wouldn't make it through the audition season if I didn't change something about the way that I was spending my time. And so Autumn started showing me some of these meditations that she's been doing. And if I got my mind quiet, even for 10 minutes of the day, I noticed a significant difference in the way the rest of my day felt. And so by meditating, I started by not judging what was happening, but by just doing it and trying. And after every meditation, I reflected and I wrote down observations that I had about maybe the way I was breathing or the thoughts that came up in my head, but not saying, this isn't right for me. I don't know if I did this right, because that's not helpful. And so while I was meditating, I noticed that a lot of things changed outside of the time that I was spent meditating. And I noticed that the practice of slowing my thoughts and allowing myself that time during the day of being still changed how present I felt. And it changed the choices that I made during the day. And I noticed that I started trying to go to bed at midnight and waking up at 8. Midnight's like kind of early for me. So midnight to 8 is a great amount of time for me to be sleeping. I started drinking more water and I noticed that I was cutting engagement with technology before bedtime. And cutting that technology decreased my feeling of being so busy. And so I decided to try something different and I decided to cut off everything in my phone that scrolls, except for email. But, oh, so that was that. So that's these things. I started with the big three, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. I didn't have TikTok, but Instagram Reels are the same thing as Facebook Reels and YouTube Shorts. They're all the same. They're just like weeks behind each other. I just get the memes later. And so I got rid of Instagram and Snapchat. And so the places where I spent my time when I was eating, waiting for the white loop, or going to the bathroom, who goes to the bathroom with their phone? Do not lie to me right now. Yes. I know you take your phone in when you're pooping. A lot of people do it. But I was constantly surrounding myself with this stimulation, with the scrolling and with the quick dopamine. And so I deleted those things because I needed a change. And I knew that I was not sustainable with the way that I kept going. And so I noticed that when the temptation of scrolling was away from me, I was more present. And I noticed that I still was kind of reaching for my phone. And so in the first week, I was doing the thing where, when you delete an app and then you kind of click where it was and you're like, wait, I didn't mean to do that. I was clicking where I had these things on my phone. And that was something really interesting for me to notice. But I was still very inspired and I was doing all these peaceful things and sleeping more and doing all the good things for myself. But in the second week, I noticed that the scrolling apps just changed to the other apps that I used less. And so Visco, Pinterest, my camera roll, I just started scrolling on the other things. And so I got rid of all those, not my camera roll, but I started getting rid of the stimulus on my phone that was attracting me because I was addicted and I felt that. And so by getting rid of all these things, I felt like I had so much more time because I felt like the time was mine and I felt like I was able to control the time. You ever scroll on your phone and then 2 hours has passed and you're like, where did that go? I felt that all the time. And I felt like I couldn't get all the things done in the day that I wanted because I was drained by the things in my phone. And so this was really helpful for me, and the noise got a lot quieter, and I started being really intentional with the way that I was spending my time. Additionally, with social media, getting rid of that stops the comparison of other people. And it's not, I don't struggle much with oh, she's prettier than I am, or they're doing more fun things than I am, but it is really hard to constantly be seeing what everyone else is doing. And so this led me to start living my life and going down my own path that was not in relation to other people. And so if we bring, let's get that first again. If we bring back these ideas, I remember that Sunny made a really great point that a lot of these feelings are in relation to other people. I'm busy, therefore I am important. Important for who? This destination addiction, that one's a little more personal, but this fear of slowing down, the FOMO, it's about being with other people. I should be busy. It's about how other people think that your life would be the best. And so taking a look at all these points that we discussed, a lot of them are influenced by the choices of other people. And so finding this solitude and going down my own path and separating myself from the extra stimulation and noise allowed me to control my own path. And so being a music student, now, is there any other music majors in the room? I don't know if there are. Anybody? No, okay, that's okay. It's a small school. But the game in the School of Music is to do the most amount of things you can possibly do. And I know that this is the game for a lot of other things. Who's going to go to all the career fairs? Who's going to get all their name on every piece of paper? Who's going to get all the internships? And so the game is to do everything. And so most of that comes from this external motivation. Somebody else is getting more internships than I am. Somebody else is learning more music than I am. And so getting rid of the noise is hard, but the only constant that we have when we graduate is ourselves. And the only constant that I have when I graduate is me. All this external noise of the type of musician that I can be no longer exists when I move on to the next aspect of my life. The only musician that I want to be is the one that's going to stay with me. And so I know it can be difficult to feel, but we all each have 24 hours of free time in our day. I choose to go to bed. I choose to drink water. I choose to eat my food when I eat it. And I choose to go to class, which is crazy. But I love class. And I choose to go there every single time. And so how I spend my time is my choice. And how you spend your time is your choice. And this is it's a little bit contrasting. They're very different, but you are here and there are many choices that you can make right now, and there are many choices that you can make later today and tomorrow. And so having these choices that we have and surrounding ourselves with the ability to make choices might help slow down a little bit. And so we have this video, just to wrap up a little bit, that if you could play, Scout, would be great. Thank you.
There's one trait each day that you have to live. You might have more in your life, maybe less, but on average, this is the time we have. Here's a single meeting. It's your very first day, a special day, kind of a rough day on everyone involved. Add 364 more, and you have the first year of your life. Now, that's the scale. Here are your first 15 years, 5,475 days. Which brings us to the threshold of adulthood. And at that moment, this is the time that we have left. And this is, on average, what we will do with all that time. We will be asleep for a total of 8,477 days. If we're lucky, some of that time we'll be sleeping next to someone we love. We will be in the process of eating, drinking, or preparing food for 1,635 days. We will be at work, hopefully doing something satisfying, the equivalent of 3,202 of those days. 1,099 days will be spent commuting or traveling from one place to another, maybe a little bit more if you live in LA. On average, we will watch television in one form or another for a total of 2,676 days. Household activities like chores and tending to our pets and shopping will take another 1,576 days. And we will care for the needs and well-being of others, our friends and family, for 564 days. We'll spend 671 days bathing, grooming, and doing all other bathroom-related activities. And another 720 days will go to community activities like religious and civic duties, charities, and taking classes. After we remove all those beings, this is what remains. This is the time that we have left. Time for laughing, swimming in the mud, going on hikes, text messages, reading, checking Facebook, playing softball, maybe even teaching yourself how to play the guitar. So what are you gonna do with this time? How much of it do you think you've already used up? If you only had half of it, what would you do differently? What about half of that? How much time have you already spent worrying instead of doing something that you love? What if you just had one more day? What are you gonna do today?
Thanks, Scout. And so my story is not that social media is bad. That just happened to be what I needed. Oh, I still have a minute. Can you just give me 1 second? Because clearly social media is not bad. We heard from our friend over here that that's not the case for him. My point is that you're making a choice right now of how you want to spend your time. Oops. Can you just go to the next slide? It's not going to work. And so this is your question for this week. How we spend our days is how we spend our lives. What are you going to do with your 24 hours of free time? And with that, I send you off into the world. That was